Solve each equation, find the solution to each equation, or if no solution, write none and explain why there is no solution. So for the first one, remember that when we are solving an equation, we always want to try and get the exponent by itself or the root by itself first. So if we have 2x squared minus 23 is equal to 53, the first thing that we want to do is we want to add 23 to both sides because we want to isolate the 2x squared. So these add to 0, so we have 2x squared is equal to 76. And then we want to divide both sides by 2, and so we get x squared is equal to 38. And then we want to take the square root on both sides. And remember, when we take the square root on both sides, we want to do the positive and the negative version of it. So x would be equal to the positive and the negative version of the square root of 38. For the second problem, we have x plus 1, and that quantity is squared equal to 81. So we already have the exponent simplified or isolated. And so now what we need to do is we need to undo squaring it, which means that we're going to take the square root on both sides. And when we take the square root on both sides, remember that we need to do both the positive version and the negative version. So over here, we would just have x plus 1 is equal to positive and negative 9. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this equation here and I'm going to write it as two separate equations. So this is going to be x plus 1 is equal to positive 9 and x plus 1 is equal to negative 9. And then I'm just going to solve each one of those equations individually. So for this one, we're going to subtract 1, which would be equal to 8. And on this one, we're also going to subtract 1, but it would be equal to negative 10. All right, for the last one, there we go. We have 3x squared plus 14 is equal to 12. So we want to isolate the 3x squared first, so we're going to subtract 14 from both sides. So we have 3x squared is equal to negative 2. And at this point, I'm going to stop because there is no solution. Okay? So here's the reason why. There is no way for me to square a number and get a negative. Okay? Because remember, when you square something, what it means is that you're multiplying two of the same number together. Well, if you multiply two of the same number together, your result always has to be a positive value. So if you take positive 2 times positive 2, you would get positive 4. But also if you take negative 2 times negative 2, you get positive 4. So the only way to get a negative number here would be to multiply two different numbers together, one positive and one negative. And that's not the meaning of squaring something. So this one would be no solution.